So now please stay on because we are moving into the closing ceremony of the 9th South-South Forum. So we have invited a few friends to say a few words. So we are running a little bit over time, and my apologies to the interpreters. Thanks to all our interpreters. So now for the closing, we would like to first invite Paulo. Paulo from Brazil, and the co-organizer from UFES. Paulo, please.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. I wanted to thank you for the invitation for this closing ceremony. It's a great honor to speak at this moment to all of you at such a long event with so many people involved, with so many topics that are so important to all of us. So I wanted to mainly tell King Chi and Jade and the whole staff of the Lingnan University that I send you my congratulations for such an amazing work. I think this is a very tough work, a hard work to carry out, but it is contributing very importantly to all of us, because this was an event that is very important, more important than any other event. And actually, it's very far-reaching, much more far-reaching than any other event. So this is why I wanted to tell King Chi and Jade and the whole Global University staff that I want to congratulate you for all this work. Also, these are very important discussions and topics. They are important because we are currently going through a very important capital crisis, a crisis that is increasingly larger and that is endangering even the future of the whole of humanity. Capitalism has come, in my opinion, to a point in which they are destroying natural resources and the living conditions of the majority of the peoples of the planet. With this level of concentration of capital, hoarding of capital, and hoarding of profit and wealth, there are very few capitalists that are benefiting from this, while actually the majority of the population don't even have enough to feed themselves. So humanity is coming to a point in which it has to choose if it continues with this form of society, this mode of production that is excluding, that is concentrating, or if it can change this type of society so that we can, all of us, can be able to have a life. So I think that all these discussions and debates, the whole event is very important. To me, it's important to see that regardless of distance or any differences that we may have among each other in terms of our points of views or our interpretation of things, we have to unite. All the world has to unite. The world that wants to change this reality needs to unite. This reality is increasingly complex, complicated, and harder for the life of all human beings. So this is a task that is urgent, extremely urgent. So to me, this event is a moment in which people from all around the world can meet to think, to find alternative ways to build a new society. So I wanted to thank you once again for the invitation to participate in this closing session. And unfortunately, I was not able to attend all sessions because we were not able to contribute as much for the debates. But anyway, I wanted to thank you. Thank you, Kinchi and Jade and the whole Global University staff. Thank you very much. And I hope that soon we can have another and another and another event like this, or other South-South meetings to continue with this debate and to exchange experiences so that we can have larger contributions. Thank you very much.
So now I would like to invite Firoze MANJI, who is our co-organizer. He is from Daraja Press from Canada and Kenya. Firoze, please.
Thank you very much. I just to say an immense congratulations and thank you, Kinchi and Jade. Where do you get the energy to organize so many and such fascinating and stimulating presentations? I don't know how you do it, but I want to thank you for doing it, because it is precisely in this period, this era that we live in, that we all have to work to try to bring together the coordinated impact of this collaboration, to be able to discuss maturely our different perspectives and to bring about some kind of major change. You have achieved an extraordinary thing here. Thank you for doing that. And thank you to all those who've been involved in coordinating, managing, and in particular the translators who've been incredibly generous in this and the course that I organized as well. So thank you, Kinchi. Thank you all.
Thank you, Firoze. Actually, we are not consuming our energy. We have been very much energized by all the discussions, and it has been a 5-week long study sum for us. And we have been learning such a lot from all the speakers. So now I would like to invite Professor Wang Hui from Tsinghua University. And his center has been the co-organizer of the South-South forums since the very beginning.
Thank you, Kenji. I am very happy. I feel pleased to participate because this is the 9th South-South forum. I think 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, it is distinctly different from today. It is a hard job to continue to today, and it's extremely valuable. I would also like to quote from Lingnan that Marco have quoted. He says that sometimes for decades nothing happens, but then within a few weeks there are developments that are more important than that had developed in decades or so. Our attention to the time being is exactly an important aspect of the South-South Forum, because not everyone in this world we live in are caring the global South. They care about the Western countries more. However, despite all this ignorance, discrimination, and belittling, global South has become increasingly prominent globally as a changing force. Nobody can ignore the global South. No matter where they are in this world, for whatever reason, it is impossible for them to do so. So it is my hope that they can continue this South Forum to provide more intellectual resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Wang. Now I would like to invite Professor Huang Ping from the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. Professor Huang, please.
As everyone, first of all, I would like to thank Kenji and her team, including Jade, Xiaohui, and all the interpreters. Without you, without your perseverance and your dedication, it is impossible to have this 9th South Forum. And in fact, our participants, no matter where you are in this world, like for myself, for example, I'm based in Hong Kong. We're facing difficulties economically. Maybe you can call it a crisis. We also have the crisis posed by the pandemics. It even prevents us from engaging in normal day-to-day exchange. So just as Professor Wang and many of the participants talked today, although this is the 9th South-South Forum, it's a pity I haven't been able to participate in all the past sessions, and I didn't participate in our presentations. However, as Professor Wang mentioned, the importance of the global South and the dialogue among the global South, as well as the outcome, the achievements that derived from these dialogues have go beyond this forum itself. Probably this global North is undergoing a major internal change, and this seemingly dominant force, dominant way of rule, way of production, and way of life, as well as the thinking and way of communication may, as someone has mentioned, quoted Lingnan, that it may collapse within the blink of an eye. This is the late Samuel Armin also mentioned during his later years in his life. Once, with some of his comrades, including Giovanni Arrighi and Warrenstein, Armin talked about the hegemonic system of the US, which seemed very powerful, very dominant. Yet, however, there is this possibility that within the blink of an eye, it may collapse. But once we realize the importance of the global South is more prominent. So this ongoing South Forum, which has celebrated its 9th anniversary, will be increasingly important. As I mentioned yesterday, opportunities are for those who are prepared. Without such discussion, such exchange, such communication, and the on-the-ground experience of the global South, once the crisis breaks out, or when the former models no longer work, new alternatives may not automatically appear. So I believe there will be a 10th South-South Forum and more people will participate, and our discussion will be increasingly innovative. Again, thank Professor Kenji, her team, all interpreters, and all the organizers, as well as all the discussants as speakers and participants. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will listen to Professor Wen Tiejun from Southwest University.
大家好，我是温铁军。
Hello everyone, I'm Wen Tiejun. So now we are close to the end of the South-South Forum. Now, we have discussed around the collapse of modern civilization and the future of humanity. This is what is happening during inside this neoliberalism system, and we already see we have observed the food crisis that is putting millions and millions of people in hunger, which is happening because it happening when the production and the storage of the world food is still, it doesn't decrease at all, but only because of this kind of conflicts and the supply chain and the neoliberal hegemony. And also we can see the world is entering a system that is when the developed countries and the developing countries are all inside the impact of the inflation. That is because no matter whether if the financial crisis or the debts that cannot be relieved, and the developed countries are in the name of the QE to transfer the liquidity to the international market. Of course, this will build onto the inflation, and also because of the outbreak of the pandemic, all the Western countries, the so-called civilized countries, they are used in the least civilized way. They are transferring out the pandemic and trying to find excuses, etc., in the name of the trade war and economic war, combined with what is already existing and causing the disruption of the supply chain, which resulted in the increase in price of the primary products. So that's how this global inflation started. But of course, some countries already suffered from all this very high inflation rate. But for some countries, they have enjoyed a long-term balance and long-term stability in their domestic market. But now they are all suffered from the same problem. And now with also the climate crisis, I think this is the third issue that we should all pay attention to. And I'm not going into details, but all of our discussions that is already embarked on those topics are related to highly related to what is happening now. That's how it is proof that our South Forum is very in time, and all the speakers, they have shared with us the issues, that is the status that is in their countries, and also how they read all the situation. I hope this forum is not a closing, but it will lead to a deeper discussion. I hope to see more and more this kind of discussion, so that every one of us can mobilize our subjectivity, and when we are in front of these challenges, can more or less have some pursuit of the power of all the strengths to seek the sustainability. I hope every one of us can still stay in contact after the South Forum, and let's start the planning of the next forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we would like to invite Professor Tai Jin Hua from Peking University. Professor Tai, please.
I think everybody has already said what should be said. I don't know what else can be put, but of course, thank you, Professor Lau Qingqi. Thank you, Professor Tsui, and also Liu Xiaohui. And also thank you to all the interpreters. I know Xiaomei well, but I don't know many of others. And when I see when they are trying to take turns and they showing the sum to each other, every time when I saw that, I am very touched, and I can imagine that all these 5 weeks of work, and I can kind of imagine how your life was like. I know you have been working very hard, and this nine South Forum. I have joined from the first one, and I've joined each one of them. Every time during the process, I'm not only motivated by the discussion, by the topics, but more I was touched by the whole organization team led by Professor Lau Qingji, including Tsui, Yan Xiaohui, and Jin Peiyun, etc. Everybody has already, I think all the others have already mentioned the loss, so I don't want to repeat them. Today, the crisis and the despair that we are facing, most of the times is because our vision, our sight is only focused on the hegemony, on the center, on the dominators. We are too occupied by this center, and we are too occupied by the craziness, the greed that is in the process of collapsing. They are getting more and more shameless. The capitalism is already eating up their own bourgeoisie class, and the little bunch of people that is the benefiters of all of this, they are no longer in the form of human. So now the advanced technology seems to join their side, join their greed, and making them getting further and further from the human world, and they are now kind of in the living form of unhuman. So that's why the global south might or could be our own arena and our own possibility. So not only we should holding hand in hand to face against this very strong enemy, but it's also possible the enemy could destroy the whole world while they destroy themselves. How can we win over? How can we win over this war? How can we save the earth, save the humanity from all of this? This is what our works are resolving around, including South Forum. And this is lots of the scholars, lots of the thinkers that what we are hoping for. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dai. Now we have heard from all the co-organizers, and now we are going to hear from the organizers. So I'd like to invite Yan Xiaohui, who has been doing a lot of the broadcast, live streaming in the Chinese channels, and also editing the videos to be put on Bilibili and on different channels in media in China. So now, Dr. Yan Xiaohui.
非常感谢
Thank you. Thank you, the organizers, the founding members, including Professor Lau Qingji, Professor Wang Ping, Professor Tsui, Professor Tai Jin Hua, Professor Tiejun, etc. I'm very motivated that almost every one of you is here, and thank you for building this platform so that we could have the chance for interchange. And of course, I would like to give big thanks to the speakers. I know this is a very long forum, but it provides us such a chance to exchange ideas and thoughts with every one of them. And also, especially when these ideas and thoughts are different from what is heard in the mainstream. So the time and effort is very worthy. Of course, we want to give a big thanks to the interpreters, because apart from the time that they are dedicated to the session, they also have to spend lots of time in preparing. And the recent times, just from my perspective, I have come into contact with lots of youngsters, and the South Forum.
Most of the participants, audiences today are youth. We have over 400 young participants who registered for this forum. And one of the public live streaming on Douyin, which is Chinese TikTok, have 6 million, have attracted hundreds of thousands of audiences, I would like to share a little bit more and go to greater details. Recent years, especially in Chinese mainland, we talk a lot more about involution and among the young people. The young people may be increasingly in a kind of difficult situation or dilemma. It has more to do with individuals' success, or whether they have opportunity, or whether they may be able to have victory in the society. But still faced with these difficulties, we also call for solidarity. For example, can we be able to form a new system where it protects all its members while it confronts the old system? But in this process, in forming this, we would often discover that it easily may become the capitalist reduction part of it. It seemed to be reinforcing the existing capitalist structure that divides us. Sometimes when we feel that we have done something, we have some form of success of the individual. It was essentially something that strengthens the current capitalist structure. Mostly they are united or organized by capital, by money, because everything we've learned or everything we're using, all our ways are from capitalism, like how to make money, how to make more money, how to maintain growth, how to pursue efficiency, how to calculate cost, even how to measure success. Just as Professor Dai mentioned, we're looking at the center of capitalism. We're looking at so-called successful people that we abhor. Recent years in China, we do not worship capitalists or those exploiters as much as before, and we no longer believe as much in those chicken soup of success, so-called thing like that. So in a word, we are no longer easily cheated by the elites. Yet still, we have not found a way to effectively organize from the grassroots, to organize in a bottom-up way. As long as we are organized by the relationship that's linked to money, it's still difficult to have other types of relationship without still falling the trap of the capitalist logic and in turn enforce capitalism. Earlier today, I see a job post, a recruitment post. An organization is organizing a trip to rural areas to rural areas for research. It costs about 10,000 yuan, and it's about 3 months of income of an average Chinese. So what kind of people are trying to participate in this kind of research trips? And how can this trip be useful to the things we're doing? In this regard, all kinds of our movements are already facing difficulties, but still we are not going deep enough as young participants in that. No matter how small our organization or individuals are, we still lack the kind of spirit, the determination of the past generation of our predecessors. We lack their faith in their cause, and we lack their spirit of success, of sacrifice. So we still need to not prioritize our own interests. We need more cooperation, mutual help, and even dedication or sacrifice that form a tighter, more sustainable structure for movements. And on the international level, we may also need something similar. We overemphasize trade and economic relationship, all these trade-offs, and we even naively believe that economic relationship may bring about amicable relationship. Like nowadays, for the China-African relationship, we no longer talk about this brotherhood or political alliances. We talk more about economic cooperation. This relationship based on economic interest will be very fragile once economic conditions are not there. Once this breaks, it will bring harm to other countries. It will lead to endless competition and conflicts. Today we talk about, I think Professor Wang said, he put emphasis on solidarity among third world countries. We need a non-capitalist international cooperation to stand against this global structure, global system of the so-called developed Western countries against their alliances. Only in this way can they go beyond interests and go beyond. Oh, I may have talked a lot, and thank you all. We hope this forum will be an opportunity for networking and connection, and that they can have more opportunity for exchange. Of course, apart from our hundreds of participants today, we would like to tell you that we will upload most of the sessions of this 9 South Forum on Bilibili or Douyin and other platforms that are closely related or youth, so that more people will be able to have access to our contents. Again, thank you all.
Thank you, Xiaohui. Now I would like to invite Jade Tsui to say some words. She has been, I think it's no exaggeration to say that she has sent maybe over 1,000 emails to communicate with all the speakers and interpreters. So Jade, please.
Yeah, my name is Tsui, Jade Margaret. I'm working at Southwest University in Chongqing, China. I have been involved in the planning and coordination of the South-South Forum on Sustainability since 2011. We have promoted a South-South consensus with 2 pillars. 1, annual South-South Forum on Sustainability. 2nd, ongoing research project focusing on financial capitalism, climate collapse, and community regeneration. South-South Forum is based on solidarity of Asia, Africa, and Latin America, with the supporting people as the backbone. The 9th South-South Forum on Sustainability started on 8th of July and continue for more than 1 month until today, 12th of August, with almost 1 session per day. There are a total of 35 webinars with 100 speakers from 30 countries. There are a total of 1,500 registrants in Zoom and 400 participants in Xiaohui, a Chinese social media. This year, we provide 7 languages of simultaneous interpretation: English, Chinese, Spanish, French, Portuguese, Korean, and Japanese, with a total of 50 interpreters. They are indeed social and cultural mediators with passion and patience. 小妹，不好意思。Despite language barriers, we work together to make the voice of the invisible peoples be heard, as well as make grassroots alternatives and possibilities be recognized. We will edit the video recordings to different language editions to be uploaded to the websites of the Global University for Sustainability, Lingnan University, YouTube, and Xiaohui. It is the ending of the 9th South-South Forum, but it is also the beginning for us to prepare for the 10th South-South Forum. In the catastrophic times, let us explore more on how to survive together with dignity See you all next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jade. On behalf of Lingnan University and the Global University for Sustainability, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to all the speakers, interpreters, and the executive teams that have been part of the South-South Forum. Since the first South-South Forum in 2011, hundreds of speakers from all continents have joined the dialogue to make sense of the dilemmas we face and to debate alternative theories and practices, putting a special emphasis on people's livelihood, community building, defending the commons, and nourishing hope and reciprocity. All the proceedings have been videoed and edited and are available on the Global University website. As today is the day of the ghost of the spectre, we would like to commemorate our dear friends of the Global University and the South-South Forum that have deceased, including Vinod Rainer, Emmanuel Wallerstein, Samir Amin, Francois Uta, Mushakoji Kinhidi, Marta Haneke, Isagani Serrano, Gustavo Esteva, Chet Bowers, Kamla Bassin, Maike Salin, Pierre Baudet, and others. We will commemorate them by continuing with their intellectual legacies. As we specifically commemorate the 4th anniversary of Samir Amin's passing, I would like to highlight his concept of delinking for nation states on the periphery and semi-periphery, and for people's movements for autonomy. As Jade just said, we are starting to plan for the 10th South-South Forum, and before July next year, we will be holding South-South dialogues for sustainability. So thank you all for your participation and for your inputs. And again, a special thanks to the many interpreters who have demonstrated their passion and their dedication. So thank you again.